For me personally, it's really exciting. Like playing the game I love, doing what I love in front of people, and I've always kind of been like I don't know the word for it, but I soak in a lot of the energy. So when I hear people getting loud, even if it's against us, like it motivates me to go even harder.
Hi everyone, welcome to 1v1. I'm joined today by Valyn, following G2's 2-1 loss to 100 Thieves. So I mostly wanted to ask you about Shanghai, but I want to start off with a couple questions about this game. 100 Thieves, they've been looking really good lately. Why do you think they've been so good lately? What makes them good?
I think they've always had like really talented players on that team, but Boostio coming in kind of like unleashed them and kind of gave them more confidence and just kind of took the pressure off them. I think he's just like a people person and he brings out the best out of people. At least that's what I see from the outside. But I've known for a long time that those players on the team have always been phenomenal. And even in their like rough times like last year, I think they just lacked leadership and they lacked that guy like Boostio. So ever since he came in, the team has looked phenomenal and they started playing to their actual level.
So they've been super good on buying lately, but you guys were actually able to take that from them today. So why do you think you guys were able to win buying today?
We were just being really proactive and the comms were great. We started pretty slow. We took a timeout. We're like, guys, like we just need to pick up like the little details, start telling people what to do. Let's make plans before them. And once we started getting that flow down, it felt pretty easy, honestly. We played them on bind previously in Split 1 when they beat us. So we kind of knew how they like to approach the map, or we had like a good read and we had a comp switch. So it wasn't the same bind they played against us, but for us, it was like the same bind. So we just had a good read on the map and yeah, I mean, no pistols, and we won like 13-8 or something, so it was pretty dominant from us.
For sure. So, I mean, despite the loss, with the win yesterday over Crew, you guys are heading to Shanghai. So I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but how do you feel qualifying for Masters Shanghai?
I feel really good about it, like, obviously. The one feeling I have is a little bit of, I don't want to say nervousness for it, but more so like I just want to feel really prepped. If we beat 100 Thieves today in like a 2-0 fashion, for example, I would have been like, yep, like we're really ready for the international competition. I still think we have some strides to make if we want to be top contenders at that event. So just looking to continue to get better in the short time frame we have before we go is going to be important for me because I want to go there max confidence. I want revenge for what happened last time when we went to Reykjavík. And I think today, even though it was a loss, like 100 Thieves is looking great. If I brush off, the loss, it was pretty close. And I think if we just fix like a little things, we'll be really good for it. So I'm excited.
For sure. So you mentioned Reykjavík. You guys went there with the Guard a couple of years ago, and you guys went winless. What do you think will be the difference this time around for you guys? And why do you think you'll do better this time at Shanghai?
I think a lot of it is just experience and maturing, like as a person, not even just in-game experience, but kind of just being in the scene for longer, understanding tournaments more, understanding how to win matches even. I would say at the Guard, we had like a Cinderella run, and we didn't really know like, I mean, it's weird to say this, but we didn't really know like why or how we were winning games. We were just doing our thing and winning. But when it comes to international competition, you got to be able to like watch VODs and understand different team dynamics and play style and try to put that together to come out with wins. And it's a lot harder than regional because regionally, you scrim the same people. You might rematch them or play them multiple times, so you're very familiar. But once you hit like the international stage, you're not really familiar with the teams. So I think just maturing in the game, getting more experience, understanding game planning, and kind of putting all the pieces together, I think we'll be a lot more prepared for this.
Who are some of the teams that you're looking forward to facing?
Teams I'm looking forward to, I want to play against some Chinese teams really bad because I think they play the game like kind of interesting, and I think China's going to be a top like region eventually in Valorant. They always take over, so I'm just excited to see where they're at right now, and obviously playing in front of the Chinese crowd against a Chinese team, like I'm excited for that. Other than that, I think in EMEA, like Heretics have been looking pretty dominant, so I want to play against them too.
Definitely. So you mentioned playing in front of the Chinese crowd. In Reykjavík, there was no crowd. So how do you feel about finally playing like a tier 1 event in front of a crowd?
For me, it's hard to say because I haven't played in front of like a huge crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in Ascension, we had like maybe 1,000 people at the Brazil venue,
Mm-hmm.
and it was small venue, so it did feel loud. Like I remember being there, like it was loud, it was hype, people were, it was exciting. And we were like the crowd favorites actually because M80 had like talked smack about Union, so like everyone wanted us to beat them. Going into this one, we won't be home crowd favorites. So for me personally, it's really exciting. Like playing the game I love, doing what I love in front of people, and I've always kind of been like I don't know the word for it, but I soak in a lot of the energy. So when I hear people getting loud, even if it's against us, like it motivates me to go even harder.
Interesting. Cool. So I think, you guys, obviously you ascended last year from tier 2, and you guys have qualified now for an international event. What do you think the fact that you guys have qualified, what do you think that says about kind of the strength of like tier 2 here in like North America?
Oh, I've always known that tier 2 has been, I don't want to say better, but they've been like very close with tier 1. I think there's only a couple players or a couple teams in general that have that large gap over tier 2. And, the competition in Ascension was great last year and the team. So, and we scrimmed all the tier 1 teams because, they want to play against the people not in their league. So we got a lot of experience and we're always doing well. So we knew it once we got to tier 1, like we would have a chance, like we would play good. And I'm just glad to finally see it kind of pay off, all that work.
How do you feel about kind of the progression of Icy? Because he obviously came from tier 2, earlier this year. And how do you feel about how he's done as far as like integrating with the team?
Yeah, it was a kind of hard integration just because, he doesn't have much experience and we were just looking for a duelist, at the time. And in practice, he was definitely the right fit. Like he's a good player. I know his strengths and what he can do. So it was pretty easy for us to decide to pick him up. I'm very proud of how he's grown as a player because at the beginning, like during the beginning of stage 1, when we had him, I would say he was a bit shaky on stage. He was trying to find his comfort, and rightfully so. He's never been on stage before. He hasn't really competed at a high level against some of the best players in the world. So it took him time, but now he's starting to find his groove and kind of get into it, and I think he's going to be a great player, not only in the future, but in the now as well.
Definitely. And I mean, you are well regarded, highly regarded as an IGL, and you went up against another highly regarded IGL today, Boostio. So kind of what's it like going up against him and just kind of all the trash talk that he does on stage?
I mean, I respect him for it because he does it during the game. Like, you got to have some balls to stand up and talk crap against Loud, like when you're only up like 4-1. So I do respect him for it. And personally, I don't even see him because my monitor is a bit too high. So I don't even see like the outside. I'm just focused on the game. Obviously, it would have been cool to beat him to kind of throw it back in his face a bit. But he had me today. So I'm excited for the rematch.
For sure. So yeah, that's all the questions I had. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Any message for the fans?
I mean, shout out to all the fans. I know you guys are probably mad that we lost today because it looks like we had it in the bag, right? But hopefully we'll have a better showing in the lower bracket and the upper final or the grand final, and we'll see you at Shanghai as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and good luck in your next match and in Shanghai.
Thank you.